Hello everyone, this is Nirali Patel from New Algae Institute of Engineering and Technology. Today we are going to start with Unit 1 of Probability and Statistics, that is basic probability. So let's get started. In today's lecture, we are going to cover Introduction to Probability. After that, we will see some important terms and concepts that is useful to learn probability concept. After that, we will see the definitions of probability. So let's start with the introduction. In our day-to-day life, we commonly use words like the chance or probability. For example, it may rain today, or we can say the chance of getting profit by investing in shares of company A is high. So there is some uncertainty element in these two examples. So the mathematical measure of this uncertainty can be performed using the theory of the probability. So the probability is nothing but that is the concept which measures the degree of uncertainty and that of the certainty as corollary. Okay. So the probability is nothing but that is the concept which measures the degree of uncertainty. And this probability concept is originated from the analysis of the game of the chance. There are various problems based on the game of the chance. For example, tossing of coin, throwing a dice, and playing of cards. And this concept of probability, so where you can use this concept of probability? So the concept of probability used in the business and economics in the field of prediction for the future. So that is all about the introduction of the probability. Now let's move to the next topic, that is the important terms and concepts. So before moving to the actual definition of probability, first we will see some important terms and concepts. So first is the random experiment. So if an experiment is conducted any number of times under the identical condition, there is a set of possible outcomes associated with it. And its outcome is not unique, but it may be any one of the possible outcomes. The experiment is called the random experiment. For example, tossing a coin and throwing a dice. So here, in tossing a coin, in advance we don't know whether we will get the head or tail. But there are some possible outcomes that is associated with it. So those outcomes is nothing but head or tail. So whenever you toss the coin, whether you will get the head or tail. So that is possible outcomes that is associated with this experiment. So if this experiment is conducted any number of times under the identical condition, the set of all possible outcomes that is associated with that experiment in the tossing of coin is nothing but head or tail. And each time whenever you toss the coin, you will get either the head or tail. Okay. The next is the outcome. So the result of random experiment is called an outcome. As we have already discussed, we don't know the actual outcome in the starting of the experiment, that is the random experiment. Once the experiment is conducted and we will get the output, that is known as the outcome. So suppose the random experiment is a coin is tossed. So the experiment gives two possible outcomes, whether you will get the head or tail. Suppose if we consider the experiment of throwing a dice. So in that case, you will get whether 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. So you can get whether 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. Any one of this output. Okay. And that is on the uppermost face of the dice. So suppose this is your dice. So this is uppermost face of dice. So there is a chance of getting 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 are equals. You can get any one of these numbers. And that is the outcome of the result once the experiment is completed. Now the next definition, that is the trial and event. So any particular performance of a random experiment is called trial, and a combination of outcome is called an event. For example, tossing of coin is a trial and getting a head or tail is an event. Similarly, throwing a dice is a trial and getting 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 is an event. Now the next definition is exhaustive event. So the total number of possible outcome of random experiment is called exhaustive event. For example, in case of tossing of coin, you can get whether head or tail. So that is nothing but there are two exhaustive events for the experiment, that is the random experiment of the tossing of coin. Suppose if you consider the random experiment of throwing a dice, so there are six possible outcomes. So those are 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. So those 6 are possible outcomes. So that is 6 exhaustive events. Next is mutually exclusive events. Events are said to be mutually exclusive if the occurrence of one of them precludes the occurrence of others in the same trial. That means they cannot occur simultaneously. For example, in tossing of coins, there are two possible outcomes, head or tail. Okay. So we can say that event head or tail are mutually exclusive since both head and tail cannot occur at the same time. Suppose if you are tossing the coin, okay, so whether you will get head or tail, you can't get this both in the same trial. So that is the mutually exclusive event. The next is in throwing a dice. All 6 mutually exclusive events are 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. So these are nothing but mutually exclusive events because you can get any one of these numbers. You can't get all number at the same time. Now the next is equally likely events. So the outcome of a random experiment are said to be equally likely if the occurrence of none of them is expected in the preference to other. For example, if you toss a coin, so you don't know whether you will get head or tail. Okay, you can get head or tail. There are 50-50% chances for getting head or tail. So these are nothing but equally likely events. Similarly, in throwing a dice, all 6 faces are equally likely events because there is a chances of getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The chances of getting 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 are equal. So that is the equally likely event. Now the next is independent event. So events are said to be independent if the occurrence of events doesn't have any effect on the occurrence of the other events. For example, in tossing a coin, the event of getting a head in the first toss is independent of getting a head in second, third, and subsequent tosses. So for example, in first toss, if you get tail, so there is no effect of getting a tail in the first toss on the getting the head or tail in the second toss. So that is the independent event. The next example is that in throwing the dice, the result of the first throw doesn't affect the result of second throw. So suppose if you get the 1 in the first throw, so that outcome doesn't affect the second throw. You might get 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. This result of first throw doesn't affect the result of the second throw. The next is the favorable event. So the favorable event in a random experiment are the number of outcomes which entails the occurrence of the event. For example, in throwing of 2 dice, the favorable event of getting the sum is 5 is 1 4, 4 1, 2 3 or 3 2. Okay, so these are the pairs. If you are throwing 2 dice, so the number of favorable events are 4, and that is 1 4, 4 1, 2 3 and 3 2. So this is all about the basic concept. Now let's move to the different definitions of the probability. First is classical definition of the probability. So let n be the number of equally likely, mutually exclusive and exhaustive outcome of a random experiment. For example, if you consider the random experiment of tossing a coin, so in that there are equal chance of getting a head or tail, and those events are mutually exclusive because whether you will get head or tail. And the number of exhaustive outcome is nothing but 2, that is head or tail. And let m be the number of the outcomes which are favorable to the occurrence of an event A. So in that case, the probability of event A occurring is denoted by P of A, and that is given by this formula. That is number of outcomes favorable to A upon number of exhaustive outcome. Here the number of outcome that is favorable to A is denoted by M, as we have discussed over here that M be the number of outcomes which are favorable to occurrence of an event A, and N be the number of equally likely, mutually exclusive and exhaustive outcome of a random experiment. So suppose if we consider the experiment of throwing a dice. So in that case, the exhaustive outcomes are 6. If we consider the experiment, that is the random experiment of tossing a coin. So in that case, the number of exhaustive outcomes, that is n, is equal to 2. And suppose the number of outcomes of getting head is nothing but 1 only, okay, because you can get either the head or tail. So if you want to calculate the probability of getting the head, so that is the nothing but 1. So the number of outcome that is favorable to A is nothing but 1. So that is 1 by 2. So that is probability of getting head. Now let's consider the next definition. So that is the empirical or statistical definition of probability. The first definition is based on the theory concept. Now, this definition you can't apply whenever the number of n, this n is large, okay? So if an experiment is repeated a large number of times under the identical condition, the limiting value of ratio of number of times the event A occurs to the number of trials of the experiment as the number of trials increases indefinitely is called the probability of occurrence of the event A. So here this n by n is nothing but that is the number of times the event A occurs to the number of trials of an experiment. So that is m by n. So whenever this experiment is repeated large number of times, under the identical condition, the limiting value of this ratio, that is m by n, as the number of trials increase indefinitely is called the probability of occurrence of the event A. Let P of A be the probability of occurrence of the event A, and let m be the number of times in which event A occurs in the series of n trials. So for that we can give the formula like this, that is P of A is equals to limit n tends to infinity n by n, provided the limit is finite and unit. So this concept is based on the experiment. Suppose in case of tossing a coin, you are tossing a coin for the 10 times. So in that case, the n is equals to 10. And suppose you are getting the head, if you want to calculate the probability of getting head. So if you are getting head 4 times, okay. So in that case, the probability is 4 by 10, that is nothing but 0.4. If you are repeating this experiment large number of times, for example, if you are repeating for the 1000 times, so eventually you will end up with the probability that is 0.5 for getting the head. So this concept of probability is based on the experiment, and the previous definition is based on the theory concept. So whenever you want to repeat the experiment for the large number of time, you can apply this definition. Now, one more thing is that this is known as the empirical, because here we are calculating the probability of getting head or tail. That means probability of occurrence of event A, that could be any event, is calculated based on the experiment. That's why it is also known as the empirical definition of the probability. Now moving to the next definition. So that is the axioms definition of the probability. In this definition of probability, there are three axioms. So before moving to that, first we will discuss about the sample space and the event. So what is the sample space? A set of all possible outcomes of a random experiment is called the sample space. And each element of this set is called the sample point or simple event or the elementary event. The sample space of a random experiment is denoted by capital S. For example, in tossing of coin, a sample space consists of two elementary events, that is head and tail. As we have already discussed that in tossing of coin experiment, whether you will get head or tail. So there are two possible outcomes, and the set of all possible outcomes is known as the sample space. So the sample space for the experiment of tossing of coin is nothing but head and tail, and this head and tail is called sample point or simple event or elementary event. Now, in a random experiment of a throwing a dice, the sample space consists of 6 elementary events, or we can say the 6 simple events or 6 sample points, and those are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, the elements of S can either be single element or ordered pairs. For example, if two coins are tossed, so in that case, the sample space consists of these pairs. Those are HS, HT, TH, and TT, where H stands for the head and T stands for the tail. Suppose we are tossing two coins. So suppose for the first coin and the second coin. So in first coin, you can get the head. In the second coin also, you can get the head. In first coin, suppose if you are getting head, in second coin, you are getting tail. In first coin, you can get the tail. So in second coin also, you can get the tail. In first coin, you can get the tail. And in the second coin, you can get the head. So these are the 4 possible outcomes. And this outcomes is nothing but the ordered pairs. And that we have also discussed over here. Here in this example, we have seen the ordered pair. That in throwing of two dice, we can get 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, similarly 1, 6, and then 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 6, and likewise for the others. So in that, favorable events of getting the sum is 5. So in that case, we have to consider this order pair, because here if you are doing the 1 plus 4, so you are getting the 5. 4 plus 1, so you are getting the 5. Likewise for the other examples. Now coming back to the next, that is the event. So event is nothing but any subset of sample space is called an event. In an experiment of throwing a dice, the sample space consists of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Suppose we have considered that let A be the event that an odd number appears on the dice. So in that case, the A is nothing but 1, 3, and 5. Here also you can see that A is 1, 3, 5, because A be the event that an odd number appears on the dice. And odd numbers are nothing but 1, 3, and 5. So here the A is a subset of S. So that is the event. Similarly, let be the event of getting a number that is greater than 3. So the numbers that is greater than 3 is nothing but 4, 5, 6. So the B is nothing but it consists of 4, 5 and 6. That is the another subset of S. So event is nothing but the subset of the sample space. So these are two important concepts to understand the definition, that is the axioms definition of the probability. So let's understand this definition of probability. So let S be the sample space of an experiment and A be the any event of this sample space. A is nothing, that is the any event. An event is the subset of sample space, as we have already discussed over here. So the probability of P of A, that is the probability of the event A, is defined as the real value set function which associates the real value corresponding to the subset A of the sample space S. So the probability P of A satisfies the following three axioms. The first is that P of A is always greater than or equal to 0. That means the probability of event is non-negative number. For example, if you are performing the random experiment of tossing a coin, so the probability of getting a head is 1 by 2 and probability of getting a tail is 1 by 2. So the probability of any event is non-negative number. That's why we can say that probability of A is always greater than or equal to 0. The next is that P of S equal to 1. That means the probability of an event that is certain to occur must be equal to unity. For example, if we want to calculate the probability of rising of sun in the east, so that is 1, because we know that that event is certain to occur. So that must be equal to unity. The next is that if A1, A2 up to AN are finite mutually exclusive events, then the probability of union of this mutually exclusive event is the sum of probabilities of the events themselves. Here you can see that P of A1 union A2 union A3 up to union AN, that is nothing but equal to P of A1 plus P of A2 plus P of A3 up to P of AN. So that is the sum of probability of the events themselves. For example, in throwing of dice, the sample space is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now the probability of getting odd numbers. So that could be the probability of getting 1 or 3 or 5. So mutually exclusive, that means these events can't occur simultaneously. Whether you will get 1 or 3 or 5. So that is equal to P of 1 plus P of 3 plus P of 5. So the P of 1 is nothing but 1 by 6 because there are 6 outcomes and probability of getting 1 is nothing but 1 by 6 because the favorable event is 1, getting 1 is only 1 and there are 6 possible outcomes, so divide by 6. Similarly for P by 3 and similarly for P of 5. So that is also 1 by 6, so that is nothing but 1 by 2. So this is about the axioms definition of probability. So this is all about basics of the probability. So this is all about today's lecture. In next lecture, we will discuss more example on the probability and we will get into detail of the probability. Thank you.